Hi, my name's Kris McInnes and I'm a psychic medium from Brisbane, Australia. Tonight I'd like to share another true story of a home that me and my wife lived in before we got married. The story starts with my father buying into a investment property. My father found this old 1940s to 1950s era high-set Queenslander in southeast Queensland. When the sale was all being finalised and things like that, my father decided to go back to the property just to have a better look around. And he found himself underneath the house, and he was just having a good look around and everything, and he started hearing footsteps and bangs and everything come from upstairs, which confused him because the place was supposed to be empty. And he happened to notice there was an old shovel sitting in the corner, so he picked it up and kind of gave the floorboards a bit of a whack to see what would happen. And apparently somebody from upstairs went bang bang, copied him the same pattern that he did with the shovel. Anyway, later on that day he ended up back at the real estate agent, and while he was there he happened just to briefly ask if they were aware of any squatters in the past or anyone living in the home. And they said no, nothing like that, not of their knowledge. And so he left it at that, went on his merry way. And then about a year later, that's when my wife and I decided we were going to move out of home for the first time, and we figured we'd move in together. And to be honest, when we first moved in, we didn't notice anything at all. We were probably too much of a buzz, just escaping the nest for the first time and living together to really notice anything. Anyway, after things started to settle down and things, we started to notice some bangs and creaks and things like that through the home. And to be honest, all we put it down to was like heat expansion, like from hot days and cold nights with the old creaking timber. But the longer we lived in there, we started to notice a lot more. There was a lot more activity in there. It started off with, like I said, the bangs and creaks and things like that. And then it was the black shadows that would kind of go past, like doorway to doorway in the hallways, go woof, straight across. And like, did I see that, or was it my imagination type of thing? And that started to happen quite a lot. And then I was sitting on the couch one night, we're watching a movie, and suddenly in the hallway, from the start of the hallway up the back, this black shadow of a person just slowly started to come towards us. And I was paralysed in the seat by this stage, not being able to talk, just staring at it. And I thought it was going to come into the room, but it just kind of disappeared at the lounge room doorway. And so then we started to notice, like, sound like people walking around on the timber floors in the next room and things like that. There was one day I think I was downstairs fixing the car or something, and then I suddenly started to hear this sound like someone skipping down the timber veranda past me. I'm looking up at it, going, what's that? And it really sounded like somebody skipping. And then that ended up actually quite a regular occurrence in this house. I remember we had a dog and a cat, and you'd see them growling or hissing at things that weren't there, or interacting with something. And and there was even one night were actually scared for my dog because it really looked funny, like it was reacting with something in the corner, and then the next thing it starts to shake like it's having a seizure or something. And we don't know if it was really medical or not, but I mean, after a few minutes he kind of picked himself back up and he was okay again. I remember one night, my wife and I were asleep in bed, and I wake up to bashing and crashing going through the house, and I'm thinking, what the hell? Someone's broken in. And my wife wasn't awake yet, so I scared the crap out of her, but I rolled over on top of her and put my hand over her mouth like this, and just went, shh, be quiet. I think there's someone in the house, and the bangs and crashes were still going on. And I just said, just be quiet. I'm just going to go and investigate it. The only reason I did that was because I was scared my wife may wake up and then friggin' yell or something, and then they'll realise we're awake, because I didn't really know what they were wanting or what they were doing in the house. So I got up, and there was a cricket bat in my bedroom, so I grabbed the cricket bat and I was about to go out. And then I don't know, I just had this funny feeling it wasn't an intruder. So I, in my wisdom, like friggin' 2 o'clock in the morning, I decided to, like, okay, I'll bash on the wall, and if it is really an intruder, they should hear that, and they'll probably piss bolt out of the spare bedroom, and then I'll know what way they're going. So I did. I went bang, 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 and then instead of hearing feet running out of the room, I heard bang, bang, bang. It copied me back again. So then, right, I realised there's obviously a spirit in the house, not anyone else in there. So I've opened the door, and I found a coffee table in the lounge room, pushed right up hard against the wall. There's stuff everywhere. I went into the spare bedroom, and yeah, stuff absolutely all over the place. But the biggest thing that, like, freaked the crap out of me then was, we had this old brown velour armchair that was sitting in the corner. By this stage, it was upside down, sitting on top of the spare bed, and I just couldn't believe my eyes that it was where it was. So I still went and checked every door, like all the rooms, to make sure there wasn't anyone in there, and then I checked all the windows and doors just to make sure everything was locked up properly, and it was. It was a high-set home, so it's a bit hard for people to climb in and out anyway, but all the windows were locked, doors were locked. Like, the back door was like the door of Maxwell Smart's house. It had like 6 or 7 deadlocks, chain locks, you name it, had them all there, and they were fine. There was no sign of forced entry whatsoever. Being young, my wife and I had a fair few parties in this house, and there was one night we had a party, and it was kind of wrapping up kind of thing, and anyway, there was a bit of an emergency, so a mate hurt himself on a bike late at night, so a push bike, so I had to shoot off. And so it was just my wife and a couple of friends left at the place. And apparently they were all sitting around the dining table, and then my mate just went white as a ghost. What he saw apparently was, I had this old lead light door that from the dining room that went onto the veranda, and had I think it's called beveled, but the bumpy glass, the old school glass, and on panels on this door. And he swears and declares he saw a hand on the other side of it just go down, going down the bumpy glass. And apparently his first reaction was, "Who's that? Who's out there?" And my wife was like, "Nobody. We're the only ones here now. Everyone's gone home." So he thought it was someone playing silly buggers, because most likely I had already told him what was happening in the place. There was one night I was having a shower, and it was an old clawfoot bath, and it had just a typical old shower screen, this cloth shower screen that would go around it. I'm in there, and suddenly the door's shut, and then suddenly in the left corner there was this like shadow of a person just slowly walking from the doorway all the way across the shower I was standing in. And I'm packing it, my heart's beating, and I'm thinking, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. And it continued to walk around really slowly right up to the corner of the shower, and then started to turn around. And that time, my heart was pounding even harder. I thought this freaking thing was going to burst open the shower screen. And thank God it bloody just turned around and just slowly started walking back out of the room. And as soon as it disappeared, I freaking jumped out. I don't think I even dried myself properly. I just freaking threw my clothes on and ran out just in case it decided to come back. Yeah, so there's a lot of weird, funny type of freaky things going on in this place. There was one night I remember I woke up. I don't know why I woke up, but I did. And I happened to look at the bedroom door, and I noticed there was this woman standing in the doorway just watching us sleep. And she was half see-through, like I could see her through her, but it was really detailed. Like I could see all her wrinkles, everything going on. I could see all of it, but she was clear, which I thought was very strange. After all of this was going on, we decided to get a psychic medium in, just because as I wasn't a practicing psychic medium then, that came later. So when this lady came down, she was communicating with him and found out there was a little girl that lived in the place, as well as an older lady, and male downstairs, which makes a lot of sense because you'd always feel like you're being watched downstairs while you're doing the laundry and things like that. Nothing like life-threatening feelings or anything, but just uncomfortable. Anyway, back upstairs, this older lady, she wasn't meaning us any harm. She wasn't really trying to scare us, apparently. She was just letting us know, hey, we're around. And but this lady was kind of confused, the psychic said, because she thought that my wife and I were actually her children. And this young girl that was with her wasn't actually her daughter or her granddaughter or anything like that. It's just a young girl like years down the track. I think she fell ill or something, this lady was saying, and she ended up passing on through illness in the home. And this older lady decided to basically take her as her own, look after her, which is really nice. But yeah, again, apparently she wasn't trying to cause problems with us, for us. She was just trying to let us know that they're around. So in that case, my wife and I came to the conclusion we don't really want to move them on if they're happy where they are, and we didn't want to like evict them from their own home. So we decided just to all live together. But shortly after that, my father approached me and said, hey, I'm wanting to relocate the home so he can build a Chinese restaurant there. So, yeah, so we started looking around. We found another place to live. Anyway, once he actually moved the house on, I started to help him kind of build this restaurant. And I always wondered back then, like, oh, I wonder if the spirits will go with the house or will they stay with the land? And one day I got my answer to that question because my father sent me over the road to the shops to get, I don't know, a pack of nails, pack of screws or something. And anyway, on the way back, I started walking up the driveway, and I wasn't taking that much notice. I think I was reading the packet that I bought or something. And about 4 or 5 metres in front of me, in broad daylight, I thought I saw my father. And he was walking up, and you kind of walked into the side door of the the kitchen in the restaurant. So I kind of like, yeah, just continued on just to follow him. And I walked into the kitchen, and this kitchen's like an L-shaped kitchen. So it went, so I started following him in, just to ask him, hey, is this okay, what I bought? And I kind of followed him around right up into the L-shaped part of the kitchen. And I got there, and he wasn't there. He's gone. So obviously it wasn't my father. But to be honest, I thought it was. So yeah. So then after that, once my father started up his restaurant, I had heard things through my father and that late night and all of that, people were experiencing things in the restaurant and they felt a bit spooked out and things like that. But anyway, after a while, my father decided to sell the business anyway. But there's a little funny thing about this, so with him selling it, a few different like fast food chains went through this place, and one of them, which I found quite amusing, in Australia, they went through this stage of, they had this franchise called Hell's Pizza, and it's all very like horror themed type of pizza shops, and generally they have a like a glass panel in the floor where people line up to order their pizza, and underneath this glass panel they generally had I think it was like an open casket with a skeleton in it and things like that. And when I saw Hell's Pizza in my father's old restaurant, I just laughed and I thought, how perfect is that? Like, I'd hate to be like late night there for those poor teenagers trying to clean up and all of that with whatever else will be happening around the place. But I just personally thought that was really fitting, being Hell's Pizza. Anyway, yeah, that's just another story to add to the list. If you like my story, please don't forget to like my video. And if you'd like to see more like this, just subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified as soon as I've uploaded my latest video. Lucky last, thank you to all my new subscribers, as it really does mean a lot to me. And have a great night. See you next time.